Hello, lovely people of the world.
أهلاً وسهلاً.
안녕하세요, 여러분.
Mabuhay.
In today's video, we'll talk about our reactions to some of the comments that you guys had on our second video.
First of all, we wanted to thank everybody who subscribed and everybody's lovely comments and maybe even not so lovely comments. We love them all either way. We wanted to do our very best in this video to address as many questions as possible and to clear up as many doubts as possible. So here we go. Please bear with us. Before she hates me, I'm about to cry. I can't. Sorry guys. Did not mean to cry. I love him so much. I just wish his parents could see that. That's all. I hate crying. Whew. Anyway, moving on.
So there was a comment that it was disrespectful to show up to our parents' house unannounced.
I think they even called it like ambushing them. Like maybe had we not ambushed your parents unannounced that way, they would have reacted differently.
In the 4 years prior to that we tried everything else that we could think of. I tried talking to my parents all the good things about Sarah. I told them the story of the time when I was sick with the flu and how Sarah here nursed me back to health. And my mom's response is, Korean girls can do the same for you.
This did not happen overnight. The decision to show up at his parents' doorstep did not happen overnight. We had been dating for 4 years, over 4 years at the time, and he would constantly set up meetings with his parents, and they would constantly cancel on the meetings with some excuse or the other. So we had even mutually spoken about if worst comes to worst, we might have to show up at their doorstep unannounced. It was our friend Rosie, who is a he, short for Roosevelt. It was his idea when he had found out that we are engaged, and yet I haven't had the chance to meet his parents yet, officially or formally. He was like, what are you guys waiting for? Why don't you just show up at their doorstep? I mean, if they keep canceling on you guys, you should show up at their doorstep and just announce, hey, mom, dad, this is the woman I'm planning to marry. This is the woman I love. Sorry we showed up unannounced. It's just you keep canceling on us. So here we are. Just wanted to get this over and done with. Now that you've met her, it might not go so well. You might not be happy about it, but here we are. This is over and done with. I could breathe now. At least I've done my part.
And you have to remember that by the time that we showed up to my parents' house, we have been engaged for 5 months already. So which means that wedding is around the corner, and we already started wedding planning, and we wanted my parents to get involved in the wedding. Time was running out. If they don't change their mind at that time, then probably not gonna happen by the wedding day. So that's why we felt like we had to force the issue, because there's no more time to sit and wait for it to play out naturally.
And we've given them ample, if not more than enough time to sort of be more open-minded about the idea that there's a possibility he might actually ask me to marry him. There's a possibility he would find a non-Korean wife, you know. I believe we gave them ample time, and he has been trying his best to speak with them one-on-one. Your mom would not hear any of it, talk over you, and just would not let you. Anything he would say would come in one ear out the other. When it comes to his mother, she would just talk over him. She still felt like she had control over him, no matter what he said.
Another reason why we want my parents to meet Sarah, even if they refuse to meet her, is because we don't want my parents to say to us that how come you got married without ever telling me that you're getting married? How come you never told me who you're marrying?
What kind of a woman have you decided to marry where she doesn't even ask for our blessing?
So we didn't want my mom to use that against us.
Or as leverage. You know how parents can be sometimes, right?
So we showed up there just to say we did all that we can. Even though you said no many times, that we are eventually going to let you know who your son is going to marry. So you can never say that you never met, your daughter-in-law.
And that we never did anything about it, so that his parents cannot hold it against us as leverage, right?
Right, so that my parents can't say that we didn't make any efforts to show or tell my parents about who my future wife is gonna be.
Yeah, we basically prepared for that chance that they will go like, well, those other times that all those years we've been canceling on you guys, so we really had legit reason for canceling, and you guys never did anything afterwards to put in any effort to let us know who it is or introduce her to us before you decided to get hitched.
Why are you looking for your parents' approval? We went over to my parents' house not expecting approval, but we were expecting their acceptance of...
At least hoping. Not expecting, hoping.
Hoping that they will accept their new reality.
Yeah.
Because all their life they imagined that their son will marry a Korean woman and their mom will go on a spa date with her new Korean daughter-in-law. And when my mom found out that I'm with Sarah and she's not Korean, that world that my mom had envisioned came crashing down. I wanted my mom to know that you can still go on a spa day with her daughter-in-law, except that she's not Korean, but she can still have that daughter-in-law spa date.
If she really wanted to, I'd be happy to take her out.
We did it for my parents' happiness. What I mean by that is that for a parent, attending their son's wedding is probably one of the biggest days they can have. And I wanted my parents to have that day and enjoy that day. In order for that to happen, then my mom has to understand that this is the woman that I love and this is the woman that I'm going to marry. So if they're gonna have great time on their wedding day, on our wedding day, then they're gonna have to understand that this is the new reality. So that's why we went over there to let them know the new reality that they're gonna have to accept if they're gonna have a good time in the future.
I just wanted to let them know that I had no intention of taking him away from them, and that my only true intention is to make him happy. Isn't that what every parent wants for their child anyway?
And we also did it for the sake of our future children.
Yes.
We wanted our future children to have a good relationship with their grandparents.
Exactly.
And in order for that to happen, we had to mend relationship between us and my parents. Because I didn't want to introduce our future kids to a toxic environment. So we had to fix that first before we could try to introduce our future kids to our grandparents.
True. Why did I agree to be humiliated?
Because some people say, why did he subject her for humiliation? Why did she say yes to being humiliated?
Right.
I wouldn't say that we got humiliated.
We were not. Were you humiliated?
No, I think it showed that we show up there with respect. We
stood our ground.
We didn't yell.
We stood up
we didn't get into physical altercation.
Yeah.
And if anything, it showed backwardness in their thinking, and not anything about us being humiliated.
And it showed how determined we were to fight for our love.
Yeah, it showed our determination more than anything.
And that how serious we were about getting married one day.
Why did we go over there knowing that they're gonna react this way?
Right.
Okay, so even though we knew that that's how my parents felt about us, we thought that having Sarah right in their face would have different response. Just a sliver of chance.
Just a little chance.
How you know how talking about it is different from actually being in the situation. Like for example, if you're watching your weight, you're gonna watch your calories, and you say, "Oh no, I'm not gonna have a donut." But then if you actually put a donut in your face, then you have a little bit of weakness and say, maybe one donut wouldn't hurt. I'll just exercise more later.
Or even just a bite.
Yeah, so having it right in your face is different than just talking about it. So that's why, even though my parents kept saying no to meeting Sarah, if I actually were to brought her to the house and actually force the situation for them to be in the same room, they might say, well, she's here anyway, so might as well talk to her and find out what she's about. And I was hoping there's a sliver of chance that could happen, and that's another reason why we brought her, why we went over there. There was a comment about that we should write a letter to my mom or create a personal video to my mom. And well, we haven't actually done that, but I feel like that still wouldn't go very well, because there was one time that I showed up to my parents' house with a bouquet of flowers on a Mother's Day. And then when my mom saw the flowers, she was overjoyed, and she put the flower in her face, put some water in it, and then I said, well, that flower is from both of us, me and Sarah. And then that's when my mom took the flowers off the vase and tossed it in the trash. So I knew that anything that we were to give to her, she was just gonna toss everything in the trash.
And the thing was, he was not even planning to do anything for Mother's Day. He was like, so let's just give your mother some flowers or whatever you guys normally do for Mother's Day, because it apparently wasn't a thing for his family. So then I insisted, honey, no, you have to give your mom flowers at least for Mother's Day. Get her a gift, get her a card, I'll help you. We'll go shopping for that stuff. And he insisted, trust me, every time I give my mom a gift, she has something negative to say. Like, what? Like, why would you spend money over this? It's, like, I don't even need this stuff. You should save your money for yourself. What is wrong with you? Like, I don't know. I guess she can't take compliments very well. I don't know what's going on there. Apparently they have a different family dynamic at home. And so he was like, well, if I bring her flowers, this would be a first. But it is something that I know for sure that she would like. Because he wasn't sure whether to get her a necklace or anything. He says that none of that stuff would impress her, and that a bouquet of flowers should do. So then we decided to buy a bouquet of flowers, and I told him that I didn't want to ruin Mother's Day for her, so he should probably go in and give her those flowers himself, which is what he did. But the moment he mentioned, oh, those flowers are actually from me and Sarah, she totally ignored the fact that those flowers were from him, and she focused on they're from a hint of Sarah. No way. And then she just tossed it in garbage. So since then I was like, maybe you're right about buying her any jewelry or stuff like that, because she might just toss it out. And I even told him, like, maybe you shouldn't mention that any of that is from me at all, because I mean, it must have been painful for him. I mean, you know what I mean? For every child to want to feel appreciated for their efforts on Mother's Day. I don't know. I don't understand the dynamic at all. But go ahead, Boo. You were saying?
No, I still wanted to tell my mom it was from both of us, so that hopefully one day she would understand that anything that comes from her son is from both of us, and that she's gonna have to eventually understand that. Why didn't Justin defend Sarah? First of all, there was no need to defend her physically, if that's the point of the question, because my mom was not lunging at Sarah at any point, and even if my mom were to do that, I was strategically positioned at the doorway
in front of me.
So Sarah was Inside the garage, my mom is in the kitchen in the house, and I was at the doorway. So if my mom were to lunge for Sarah, then she would have to go through me first. So I was prepared for that scenario. As long as my mom is yelling, I wasn't gonna budge from the door because I don't want to give up my strategic position.
So sweet.
Why didn't I defend Sarah when my mom was launching her verbal assault? I feel that if I were to say anything back to my mom in a normal voice, she would not hear it because she's already yelling. First thing she said was, first word that came out of her mouth was already a scream. She never started out with a conversational tone. So if I were to say anything, then I'm gonna have to speak loud enough for her to hear it. That means I'll be screaming. That means that would enable her to scream even more. And I didn't want to enable her to scream, and I didn't want to invite her for a screaming match. So that's why I was engaging in a conversation with my dad, because he was at least trying to have a conversation with me. And our goal was to move forward to the next step. We already did enough talking. We already talked about how wonderful Sarah is and all that. So I don't need to repeat myself on that one to my parents. That has been talked about for 4 years. So next step is to actually, meet and greet. And that's why I was pushing for appointment with my dad. So I was asking my dad, how about this Saturday, how about Sunday, or how about the following Sunday, which, 3 o'clock, good for you. I was having that conversation while mom was yelling in the background. So I did not feel like I had to engage my mom at any point, because I just want to have the next step confirmed with my dad. And if my mom wanted to have a conversation with me, she's welcome to have a conversation with me, but I am not going to engage in a screaming match.
Good for you, honey. I totally appreciate a lot of comments about how I deserve to be defended, how I should find a man who should be able to stand up for me and stuff like that. I deserve someone better. I really appreciate you guys looking out for me, but honestly, I don't feel like it is the 21st century. I don't feel the need to be defended. I believe I could stand up for myself. Although a lot of you might disagree because I had my head down and everything. I will touch on that in a few. That's one of the questions I would like to address anyway. But yeah, I knew exactly what to expect going in there. I mean, we went in there expecting the worst, but hoping for the best. So we had even discussed this, like he and I had been going over this over and over again. We discussed how this is the way I'll be standing. I will be positioned over here. This is how I will handle the situation. If something were to happen, like we've discussed this over time. This isn't something like, on a whim we decided we're going to do this. I felt very safe there. Even though I was super nervous about being there, I felt very safe because not only was my man there for me, but I got used to, over my years of nursing, I have gotten used to dealing with difficult people or challenges like that. So I was completely fine, completely safe. Thank you though for looking out for me. I feel like you guys need to know that we had discussed and mutually agreed that if he loved me, really, really loved me, he would do me a huge favor. And that favor would be that he would not disrespect or show any sign of disrespect towards his parents when we get there. I had a hunch that he would feel the need to talk back to his mom, or maybe engage in a screaming match with his mom and then just yell over her and all that. So I had to make him promise me that he would show the utmost respect if he had any love for me at all, that he would do me at least that favor. And I made him promise me that he would not raise his voice, and he would keep a calm demeanor, and he would do his very best to maintain composure and show every ounce of respect towards his parents, no matter how well or how badly that faithful encounter goes. Oh wow, people actually went crazy over the fact that I had my head down, like bowed down, and that maybe that showed a sign of weakness and low self-esteem and stuff. But oh my goodness, if you only knew. So Justin and I had discussed. I don't know if you guys watched the video, but that was just a little moment of our discussion where I decided, or we mutually agreed, that it was better if I stood there quietly as a sign of respect for their culture to not answer back, right? Not engage in a screaming match with his mom or not disturb his conversation with his dad that seemed to be going well, in my opinion, even though I had no clue what the heck they were talking about. The fact that his dad had a normal and calm tone to his voice, and it elicited a calmer tone, well, not as calm, but a good enough calm tone in his voice. I felt like this was going somewhere. They sound like they're having a decent discussion. And so as a sign of respect for their culture, I knew that you would have to bow down and not make eye contact with your elders, correct? Unless you're being spoken to or addressed. And I realize it's the 21st century that we should be like looking at each other eye to eye, and we're in Canada now. It's a sign of respect to look a person in the eye when talking to them or even being in their presence. Like, I get that. But you guys need to understand that there's a huge generational gap between his parents and us, right? And also there's a cultural difference involved. So in their culture, if a sign of respect is to bow down to your elders, it's not like I actually knelt on the floor and everything. That would have been probably preferable in their eyes. But because I love this man so much, I was more than happy to show his parents, the very parents that had raised him to be the wonderful person that he is. I felt like it was very important for me to show them a sign of respect, even if that just means, well, first of all, not barging in. He was my doorway in anyway. If he felt it wasn't safe for me to go in, he would just stand at the door. And I would just stand behind him with my head down, not making eye contact unless I was being spoken to. So it's not that I had low self-esteem. It's just my way of showing respect to his parents, because there was a huge cultural difference involved. And I would think that it would actually show a sign of strength for a person to not run the other direction or to not engage in a screaming match when I go, who the heck are you talking about? I'm right here. You have something you want to say to me? Like, I could totally fend for myself. I totally can. I just chose not to because I love him. And so I should show his parents some respect. Even if one of them may completely disagree with the whole idea of respect because they don't care to reciprocate that towards me, I still love this man so much I will do anything for him.
It requires incredible amount of fortitude to be able to weather all that the mom was throwing at us and her, and still withstand that and not break down into tears or break down in anger. But what she showed on that day showed incredible amount of mental strength.
You're so sweet.
So some people are saying that you're not gonna respect anybody who don't respect you, but I feel that we have enough space in our hearts to give my parents some warmth, compassion, even if they don't respect us.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they will always be his parents, like they played a huge and important role in molding him into the wonderful man that I fell in love with. So I felt like no matter how much they would disrespect me, I should at least show them some respect, and we should at least, give them that respect, especially culturally, where they believe that elders should be treated with the utmost respect. That was the least we could do.
We certainly disagree, me and my mom, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to disrespect her as a mother. If I were to ask my mom what about Sarah that you don't like? Then she would go on about how that she raised me for 30 some odd years, that she sent me to private school. She would say the same thing over and over again.
Treat you like gold.
Right, then I would say to my mom, say something specific about Sarah that you don't like. Then she would be quiet for a while and then say, well, that's because she's black. And then I say, anything else about her other than the color of skin that you don't like? Then she'd be silent for a while, and then she would start saying, oh, because I raised you for 30 some years and I sent you to Paris. She'll go over back to the same
So
thing.
she did admit it's because I'm black?
Right.
Or is it because I'm not Korean? Which one?
Then both, I think. If she were to yell at my mom or show any disrespect towards my mom, then my mom would say, well, I know something specific about Sarah, why she's not good for you, because she has no respect for elders, she doesn't...
She was talking back to us when she visited here.
Right, and she doesn't know the Korean culture, that in Korean culture you're not supposed to, talk back at elders.
And look us in the eye when we're not...
You should respect the elders.
Yeah.
That because she doesn't know the Korean culture, that she cannot fit in with our family. She could say all that, but because she was practicing the part of the Korean culture where you're not supposed to disrespect the elders.
Supposed to be quiet while they speak.
Right.
That's what I did.
Then my mom can't say that Sarah is disrespectful towards elders.
She can't hold anything against me, really.
So only thing my mom can say is how she raised me for 30 some odd years, and she sent me to private school. That's the only thing that she could say.
And treat you like gold.
Yeah, that's the only thing she can say about why Sarah is no good for me.
Oh my goodness.
And that's why we want to limit the number of attacks that my mom can use on us.
Against us, yes. Yeah. Exactly.
So why did Justin not comfort Sarah after?
You guys, he comforted me. He comforted me. Trust me on this, okay? You guys only saw footage that he had posted where he did not show the whole day or how exactly it went. Because, he didn't want to bore you guys with all that footage. So what happened after that was he was first of all driving. I wouldn't want him to comfort me while he's driving. Second of all, he needed to get me out of his parents' home as quickly as he could because he was starting to lose that composure of his. His blood was starting to boil. So he got out of the driveway as fast as he could and started driving because he knew if he could be as far away from his parents' house as possible at that very moment, that would do him well and do everybody well. And that way he doesn't fail my request where I was like, honey, composure, stay calm, stay respectful, those are your parents, So he was driving. Of course, he couldn't comfort me then and there, right? He needed both his hands on the steering wheel, although I believe he reached out to me. But yeah, by the time we arrived at our other destination, he pulled up in the parking lot and he comforted me. He gave me a hug. He kept apologizing. I'm really sorry about what happened. And I told him, don't apologize. I was with you. We mutually agreed that we would do this, and this had to be done at least once before we tie the knot. He comforted me, and he kept comforting me. He has been comforting me over the years. He kept telling me, I don't want to put you in harm's way, so let's not go to my parents' house. I will talk to them. And I trusted him. He's going to talk to them. That's probably best for all of us if I don't just show up, because they don't want me there. I'm not welcome at their home. So over the years, we've been doing it that way, and you have no idea how well this guy treats me. My soulmate treats me like a queen. He really does. And that's all that matters to me, that he makes me happy and I make him happy. We make each other happy and we live a long, prosperous, happy life together. But thanks to all you guys who showered us with compliments and who continuously support us in our relationship. Why I would put up with something like that, or why I decided to stay with Justin after the incident. Why did I do that? Could it be that I am madly and truly, oh, that's a song, and deeply in love with this guy? Is that possible? that I have found my soul's only mate. I have found my one true love. And that one, I have found my dream guy that had manifested into what happens to be a South Korean man who was raised in Canada. Those were basically my motivation for staying with him. I had to follow my heart. So somebody would say, this is why I would only stick to my race. This is why I don't do interracial dating. I hope you guys understand. I, like hopefully many other girls, have always dreamt of falling in love, finding the man of our dreams, no matter what race, what ethnicity, what background, what his past is like, no matter where he came from. I still strongly believed that I would find love.
Sounds like Backstreet Boys song.
Sounds like a Backstreet Boys song. I don't care who you are, where you're from. But anywho, so yeah, I always dreamt that I would find the love of my life and get married and then have kids and then have grandkids and then grow old together with the love of my life. Most importantly, my soulmate. That is what I've been looking for, my soulmate. What mattered to me was that he makes me happy, he makes me laugh, he treats me well, he treats me right, and he showers me with all the love in the world that he can possibly shower me with. And I mean love, not material things, love. I mean, that was my goal in life, to love and be loved in return. And I found that in Justin. I found it in Justin, okay? Not in an African dude, an Asian dude, Hispanic dude, doesn't matter, Caucasian dude. What matters most is I found my soulmate. He happened to be South Korean. His mother happened to be the way she was, or is, right? My parents happen to be the way they are. That's just a family dynamic that we happen to be carrying with us along the way. So I don't know about you guys, about the whole, that's why I stick to my own race and all that. I mean, I would hope that you would pursue that soulmate of yours once you found them, no matter what background they came from. I would hope that it's true love that you're marrying for. But I mean, that's the prerogative of other people. If you guys decide it's a lot better for you, it works better for you to marry somebody within the same race, then go for it. We're happy for you either way. Just wanted you guys to know that that's not how it works for me. I personally would prefer to marry out of true love because I know what works for me, and I know that finding love, finding my soulmate is what will get me through the rest of my life. Being happy with my soul's true mate is what's going to make me go through life in an enjoyable manner, right? I would love to grow old with my soulmate. Who doesn't want that? Being with this man just makes me over the moon happy, and I would not be happier with anybody else. Even if that means he is carrying a lot of baggage when it comes to his mom and all that. I mean, I'm not marrying his mom. I'm marrying him. I am marrying the man that his mom molded, and I'm hoping that in the near future, or even after a few years, that his mom would, accept me more, or even just give me a chance before she hates me. I'm about to cry. I can't.
She's half Asian. Why doesn't my mom like her? You should know that my mom doesn't like anybody.
Wow.
I had an ex-girlfriend who happened to be Chinese, and my mom didn't like her either. And that's the story that I told in the video, how my mom was chasing us down in the streets with her car.
Wow. That's pretty scary.
So even if you're Chinese, my mom hates her. And there was one time that I used to date a Korean girl, and my mom didn't like her either. because, and she said several things, and
Because what?
and said that girl is from a different province than us.
Oh wow.
So we're from the northern province, the same province as the Seoul, the capital city of South Korea, and the Korean ex-girlfriend I was dating was from one of the southern provinces, and my mom was saying, oh, people from southern province are not like us, you know. So
we're better.
We're better. So
we're far superior.
You can find a woman much better who is from the same province as us. So that's why my mom didn't like even the Korean girl, just because she was from different province.
So at this point, it seems like his mom would not have approved of any girl for him. And I don't believe it was because I'm black. She did not approve of the fact that I wasn't Korean initially, right? First and foremost, the fact that I wasn't Korean. Secondly, the fact that I had some black in me, right? So yeah, and I think didn't she start asking you, like, when she found out that you and I were starting to get serious, she was like, yo, what about your Chinese ex? Like, what happened to her? Why don't you just, like, you know, try to mend things with her? Like, at that point, she got desperate, and I'm like, you know what? I would settle for any Asian girl for you at this point. Please, please don't end up with this half-black chick.
And some of the comments said that we should give my mom an ultimatum, saying that if you're not gonna accept my choice of wife, that they're not gonna be able to see their son and not gonna be able to see their grandchildren. But in the past, my mom is the one who has been giving me an ultimatum. My mom told me, if you choose to marry that girl, then my mom will never see me. And I said, if that's what it takes, then fine. And then my mom would say, how could you give me an ultimatum? She just gave me an ultimatum, and she turns around and she thinks that I gave her an ultimatum. So what kind of son are you giving your mom an ultimatum? How could you give your mom an ultimatum like that you'll never see your mom again?
So ungrateful.
What kind of son would give your mom ultimatum like that? So that's why we feel like if you were to give my mom an ultimatum, it's not gonna go very well. Mm-hmm. So that's why we're always gonna have our hand out, saying that whenever you feel like you wanna get out from that corner that you put yourself in, they can always reach out and grab our hands, and we can be a happy family.
Or as they like to call it, extending an olive branch.
I feel like the reason why my mom is so angry is because she's coming from a place of a hurt. She's in so much pain because her world just came crashing down. She always envisioned having a Korean daughter-in-law, and she's responding with the only emotion she knows how, which is anger. And I feel like that we responding back with anger is not gonna solve anything that we're trying to solve.
Yeah.
So that's why we didn't respond with anger. We tried to respond with a bit of compassion, respect,
hope.
Right.
But we do appreciate your ideas, and we appreciate you guys' comments on trying to help us solve our problem. I mean, our dilemma, as we like to call it. But yeah, we appreciate all of that. So please keep it coming. We love to hear from you guys. Sarah probably has some serious daddy issues. That's why she has such a low self-esteem, and she decided to just settle for Justin and settle for in-laws like that, future in-laws like that. So I actually don't have daddy issues. So even though my parents had divorced when I was 12 back in Dubai, Dad was very much a part of my life. I mean, sure, my sister and I had migrated to the Philippines to pursue our nursing degree, and then we had moved to Canada with our mother to pursue our nursing careers. But our dad has always been a part of our lives, my sister and mine, and her brother's lives, continuously. it was long distance. My sister and I would fly to Dubai. We would visit. We would stay at our dad's home. We would go out places like one big happy family. My dad has always been a part of my life. I am a huge daddy's girl. So yeah, there's more to the story though. We're gonna talk more on when I had introduced Justin to my loving dad. We'll talk more on that maybe in our next episode. Yeah, let's do that. Has Justin met my parents? Like I said, we will discuss that in our next episode. There's more to that. So how did your parents take it that you had moved in with your husband to be before he proposed or something like that? Moved in together before the proposal. Truth is, Justin and I, although we've been dating for over 4 years, prior to the proposal, we had never actually moved in together. I was still actively living with my mom. He was living with his parents, I think, the first year of our relationship, and then eventually moved in to his own home. We had not moved in together until after he had proposed to me. He had proposed to me on May 1st of 2016, and I believe I moved in with him in June. I made that decision and even told him so, that after he proposes, or after I get engaged, I would move in with my future husband, because I felt it was very important for me to discover, as well as for him, to discover what life would be like if he and I had gotten married. Like, what's it like living together? What are living arrangements? Is it gonna work out? I mean, I've heard from so many people, especially my closest friends, that it's totally different dating somebody, being in a relationship with somebody, and living in with that somebody. So we had to figure out whether we could even tolerate living together before we tie the knot. So after he had proposed, we moved in together. And sure enough, bickering almost every day. The honeymoon phase has been over a long time ago. Hope you guys realize that. I mean, not in that sense. We're talking about, like, we always have honeymoon phases because we're always super happy together. But I mean, it's not just a phase. We have good times, we have not so good times. We've never had terrible times. So I'm happy with that. I mean, we've had trying times. I wouldn't call it terrible.
So why did we post this online?
And the video footage was actually a part of that Canada in a Day. I don't know how many times I have to say that.
Yeah, because on that day we recorded everything, starting from breakfast to us getting...
End of the day at night.
Us getting into bed at night.
Yeah.
And...
we just didn't expect that our footage would be one of the few footages that were chosen to make it to the final cut of that documentary called Canada in a Day. We didn't expect that at all. We just thought, hey, let's do this for fun. I mean, what are the chances? There's no way they're going to find our life as exciting because it's super boring. We don't go out much, or at least enough, right? We don't do things as exciting as other people do.
So it was originally meant for a documentary film. And then after the documentary has aired, we had some people asking us, whatever happened to that couple who were engaged in the documentary.
Please give us an update on that engaged couple. Did they end up getting married?
Right, so we decided to do a follow-up story to the documentary on YouTube. And the reason why we posted that video on YouTube is also because we want to shed some light into this matter, that our family is not the only family that's going through this. There are a lot of families, not just Asian families. Some Arab families have this, Indian families have this.
African families, like families of all ethnicities. I'm sure there's at least one other family that is going through the same experience as ours.
And as we found out in the comment section, there are a lot of people who have gone through this, or currently going through this, or is about to go through this in the future. And
they're actually encouraging us that, only time can heal all wounds. Give it time. It might take years. It might never happen. Your parents may never accept me, or and all that jazz. We may never get them like our grandkids, they may never get to see their grandkids, they may never want to see them. So yeah, we're just, like I said, expecting the worst but hoping for the best. That way we're always prepared.
Right. And just because something like this doesn't happen in your family, it doesn't mean it doesn't happen in other people's family. And for people who never witnessed this happening in your family or close to you, then this is probably shocking to you that you thought something like this never happens because it's 2017 and we don't have racism in 2017 anymore. But you have to understand there are different families around the world who still have this very different view.
Right. And a lot of you were right about how this isn't a racism thing, or it's possibly not a racism thing. We don't know for sure. It could just be a huge cultural difference, a huge generational gap. That's all. You know? I think it's mainly those things, and racism comes in or plays a role after.
And we also want to show to the other mixed race or interracial couples that things can end up good. We just want to be an example to all those people who are doubting whether to go through with interracial relationship or listen to their parents, that things don't always have to go bad just because you're in an interracial relationship.
A few of you have been questioning Justin as to why he had named the channel Forbidden Love. Why did you name it Forbidden Love? Oh my goodness.
I didn't, you did.
He didn't. Surprise, surprise. My idea. It was my idea to title it Forbidden Love because there is so much more to the story, to our story, that you guys don't know about yet. Y'all think it was just his side of the family that have issues towards me. There's more to that.
Her side of the family is more interesting.
Yeah.
In next episode, we'll talk about Sarah's family. And we'll introduce her little sister. She's been dying to get on camera.
Yeah. Hopefully in the next episode we'll be talking more on what? My side of the family, so you guys can meet my mom, my sister, my brother if he's at home. Right? And what else?
And maybe a little bit about your dad.
A little bit more about my dad. My dad is currently still living in Dubai. So he's not in the same household as us. You know, he has his own family there. But yeah.
Alright then. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening, and tune in next time.
Thanks guys. Bye.